All right, hail everyone. We got the Dork Lords here. We are actually moments away from playing a little Age of Empires. Oh yeah! But thought in the meantime, you're all familiar with Dork Lord Theron. He's been on the channel many times, but he has one area in which he differs from many dorks, including this dork. Kind of. I mean, I'm not as mad about this as some people might be, but
Yeah, you're reasonable. That's why.
Theron is actually a defender of the Star Wars prequels.
I am.
All right, so episodes 1 through 3. Personally, I feel like 3, Revenge of the Sith, can definitely compete with the rest of the series.
There's no feel about it. It certainly can stand on its own and compete with the originals. No, I mean it's better than 2 of the originals in my opinion. That's heresy, I know, but
so which 2 originals is it better than?
It's better than Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
It's better than the original Star Wars.
Woo, now that.
Okay, yeah, I know. All right, let me back up and let me quantify that a bit.
All right.
So I certainly can't say it's better than in terms of the originality, like the advancement of the special effects, all that stuff. Even the writing, the humor is better in the original Star Wars. I have to say, when I saw Episode 3, though, I felt like I was transported back in time to my childhood, and I had not enjoyed a movie like that in many, many, many years.
We saw it together.
I continue to enjoy it on repeating watchings. I just loved it, especially this last half. I thought it was just brilliant.
We saw it together at the what was that theater? In
the Cinerama in Seattle.
Son, that theater was awesome and was an awesome experience. And yes, it is a very good movie. There's a few parts in it that I thought were not as great, but generally speaking, it was awesome. I would say the one thing about Revenge of the Sith that, upon further reflection, bothered me more than most other things was the way when Order 66 is enacted, how easily the rest of the Jedi just got wiped out. Like, it kind of made him seem more like a dude with an insignia on his arm as opposed to, I am a god. I don't know. I mean, in some ways, much like Yoda, you know, so what if your goofs that are around you turn on you all of a sudden? You should be of such an ability higher than them that you'd be like, oh, you want to go against me? Fine, die. Like the fact that they could get killed that easily just because they thought they were friends but they weren't.
Well, I think it's a good, interesting message. Like, yeah, trusting. Do you really know who your friends are? And there's obviously a pit of danger there, but. Actually, I'm more forgiving of that scene. I think it's brilliant all around, that one scene, especially because it's choreographed in such a way that it's almost operatic, the way the scenes cut from one another, the music overlay. Of course, I'm a big fan of the music throughout, and I think this is the second best soundtrack of any Star Wars.
Here we go now.
So I look on it that way, sort of like I don't know how you would characterize it other than operatic. But yeah, that scene is especially choreographed in such a way as to be like almost like a storytelling over a campfire many, many years from now, telling the stories of how the Order 66 brought down the Jedi.
All right. Well, and yes, it is operatic, and there's a tragic beauty to the whole thing. It's just it reduced, in my mind, like the credibility of the Jedi. That the Jedi are this incredibly powerful group. And then suddenly they just felt more like a general in an army. The general isn't necessarily any particularly better necessarily than anybody else. It's just like, oh, that's a guy who has been in it long enough that he's got the general bars. Anyway, that's all.
I think it shows that anyone could be a victim of hubris. They're not all powerful. They're not godlike.
There we go. In fact, that's actually one of the thoughts that maybe on the Last Jedi. The fact that term is being used for this movie is the fact that perhaps Luke, and in teaching Rey will in some ways move past being a Jedi into a different form of, say, philosophy or something that's maybe a little more like all-encompassing, kind of more.
I have not thought about that.
Like balance, as opposed to just all light or all dark or something. Anyway, so in other words, they'd still exist, and he might even start a new order, but they wouldn't be Jedi. They would be whatever. This will be really nerdly, but from the cartoon Star Wars Rebels.
Oh, nerd. Okay, yeah.
They've got a creature who is of the order of the Bendu, which is actually, I guess, the Bendu is one of the original terms that George Lucas used when he was describing Jedi versus Sith, and that the Bendu, with the way it's come out in canon, is the Bendu are in the middle. So
I see. Okay, see, I don't have the time, the luxury to enjoy the extended universe. I just know the movies. That's it.
So when Luke says, "We're the last Jedi. Welcome to the Bendu," you can come back to this video. We bended it. Are you gonna Bendu it? That's what he'll probably do. I think that John Williams will probably do that song.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Then Lucas will redo it, as in the special edition of Return of the Jedi.
That's right.
So back to the topic of the prequels, though. So clearly, Revenge of the Sith is on the category by itself. Now that leaves the other two.
It does leave those two.
Now, what am I going to say about the other two? What could I possibly say about the other two? Well, here we go.
All right, go for it.
I do recognize all the weaknesses of the acting and the painful dialogue and even the writing, softer than sand. Oh my goodness! I don't know why. I can look beyond all that. I really can, and I still enjoy them. But no, I mean seriously, I like the story arc. I think the story arc is very well done. I like the story of Phantom Menace. I like the story of Attack of the Clones. I like the story of Revenge of the Sith. I like the story how they all fit together, and I like how they connect. I think that's very well done. I just don't like the execution so much. But there's enough enjoyment in them for me that I'd look past that. Even Jar Jar Binks, as much as I dislike him too, when I'm watching Phantom Menace, and believe me, I don't watch it that much, but I mean, I watched it a couple years ago, getting ready for Force Awakens. Yeah, I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So,
by the way, a little Jar Jar reference. Apparently, he's shown up in the canon books now. Like just last week, they just made an announcement: the fate of Jar Jar Binks. So, apparently, what happens is,
oh boy, here we go. It's going to be painful, right?
It is kind of painful, yeah.
All right.
So after Order 66 comes down, and the galaxy changes big time. Basically, everyone, from the rebellion, basically blames Jar Jar because he's the one who was like, I vote we dissolve the Senate and give power to Palpatine. So they figured he was in on it. So he gets basically, like, at the time we see him in the books, he's a beggar on the streets, and he's doing little clown acts for kids around this little fountain, and somebody talks to him. He's all sad, and he's like, I remember once when I blah blah blah. Anyway, but yeah, so
he survived somehow.
He survived. He's alive as a beggar, but he's in exile. Everybody hates him, but he didn't.
But he's still doing acts on the street or something, and people
entertaining kids. He's like the balloon guy in the park or something. Jar Jar, he lived.
Oh goodness!
Go ho ho. Now, okay, which of the original two? I know this is like bottom of the barrel stuff necessarily, but which of the two was your least favorite? I assume that means whichever one you choose is your least favorite of the Star Wars series.
Yeah.
So I think we might differ on this, but go ahead.
I think we might, because I know what yours is. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with my least favorite is Phantom Menace.
See, okay.
I know.
I think Phantom Menace, while bad, it's got Darth Maul, and that Darth Maul freaking lightsaber fight scene.
Oh, I agree.
With the Duel of the Fates music is insane and just incredible, and it puts so many of the other lightsaber duels to shame. I mean, they had to really up their game. I did oh my god, how do we top that?
Yeah,
I mean, it was amazing.
And I don't think Yoda and Count Dooku topped that at all. But I mean, that was great. It was a fun scene, but no.
Yeah, it was like he's a little pinball. So there was that, and then I'm actually not. There were things. Again, we're talking about things there were things not to like. But there were things not to like about it, but I actually didn't object so much to the pod race. Some
Oh, I
people were
like the pod race. I
"Freaking
thought it was
pod race."
great.
I liked
Very
the
well
pod
done.
race. I enjoyed it. You know, that was not a. Some people thought that was problematic. I don't know. I was fine with the pod race. So the pod race.
Yeah, I don't know what the problems could be. I don't have any
I think
problems.
it's like
There's a scene where one of the little camel passes gas. I can do without that.
The announcer.
The announcers,
Great groups doing the.
that's definitely
"Hey,
for the
everybody."
kids.
You're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, boy." Yeah. But I enjoyed the pod race. You know, it had that Ben-Hur chariot race feel to it, which is very cool. Obviously, the music was awesome. Darth Maul, I would love some more of him, but he was cool for the part he was in there. And I liked, you know, I mean, seeing Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan for the first time, and Liam Neeson, I thought was excellent as well. So,
and Jake Lloyd as Anakin Skywalker.
right? Of course, he was awesome. Okay, maybe not. You know,
as big a problem with him as most people did. I really didn't. He's fine for me.
I think pretty much any whoopee blonde hair.
Yeah, I know you hate that.
Would have sucked. So I'm not saying Jake Lloyd in particular was.
It's
awful.
Yippee.
I'm sorry, Yippee. The fact that he had a love interest with Amidala was just creepy, and that's not on Jake Lloyd. That's on the casting. And the writing.
It's goofy. I didn't really pick up on it as a love scene. It's more like a, I don't know, interest or something. But
like,
I care for you too. That was. But there are plenty of other. I mean, like Ian McDermott as Senator Palpatine is very good. There's some good cut scenes with him I like a lot. I like the opening of the movie. I think it's great. What else do I like? I do remember watching it in the theater many times, and like the parts, like the first third through the second, towards the last third, I was like, get going.
Like they could have snipped out Jar Jar going through the underwater. I have an underwater shortcut.
Yeah, I have a friend who hated that scene.
It just doesn't make any. It seemed pointless, basically. Like, let's show you big fish. Okay, thanks. Oh, now we're here, and we never have to talk about it again. Okay. Anyway, could have shortened that movie up.
Now, I remember sitting in the theater for Attack of the Clones, and I went with my company at the time, and I remember getting so excited. Oh! And I remember having this sinking feeling at the beginning. The opening scene was very cool, where the ship blows up, but then the decoy. There's too many decoys. Have you noticed? Like, he's a decoy. She's a decoy. Okay, decoys. All right. When the decoy, what's her name, Torme or something like that, dies, she said, "You're messy. I'm so sorry." And then her death is just so bad. I'm like, oh gosh, this is setting a stage. Oh no. And I thought they were probably the worst scenes in all of the movies are in Attack of the Clones. Now, why is that not my least favorite? I don't know.
I'll say this: like I actually yawned, which I never do in a Star Wars movie, during the Obi-Wan goes to investigate the factory.
Oh yeah, right. I'm
trying to remember the name of the planet.
Geonosis. Yeah.
Does he go to Geonosis? I think he goes to like a water planet.
Oh yeah. What's that? Camino. Yeah.
There we go. The Ophidians. They were.
You didn't like Camino, man?
Camino, like the El Camino.
I like that scene.
I don't know. Like I got bored. I got bored during that part, and I was kind of ready for it to be over, and then I kept thinking like, oh, Sifo Dyas, he'll come. I know around. Never came back.
That was mysterious. That I was like, oh, we're setting up a mystery here, and they had all the elements of setting up a good mystery, but it just kind of vanished off into the smoke.
In the legends that's about Sifo Dyas, but in the movies,
but it's got to be done in the movies. You're going to bring it up to that level. Yeah, that was a big miss.
Yeah,
that was a disappointment.
And I remember, hearing about in advance of the movie, like, and there's going to be a giant lightsaber fight with all. And I was thinking, well, that's going to be awesome. And somehow it just wasn't as cool. Like, it just when all the Jedi are fighting in the arena, Geonosis. I was like, I mean, it wasn't. It was interesting, But I don't put that up there with like the great lightsaber battles of the
No, you're right.
series.
I agree. I remember seeing the preview for that. Now, the preview where it showed a flash of Jedi, like, with lightsabers flashing surrounded by this army of droids, I was like, oh my, this could be so cool. And you're right, it was like, and like Mace Windu's scene, he looks really bored the whole time, and I think the battle scenes with all the machines and stuff, that's really well done. It's nice and loud in the theater. And then there's some, and you're right, I agree with the lightsaber scene, could have been so much better. It's not horrible, but
I guess it just took out the humanity of it. I don't know, or like that one-on-one quality, or 2-on-1, or 3-on whatever.
Yeah, and
when it was just like, oh, there's just this. I see these lights. Oh, there's a purple one. There's a yellow one. There's a. Whatever.
Oh yeah, right.
I don't know.
And then the two lightsaber thing that lasted what, 10 seconds, and like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then there's a real disconnect that I still can't. What would you call it? Not a disconnect, but there's a plot hole or something, like when Padme falls out of the transport ship.
Right, and she's like boom, and then you think she's dead.
And she rolls. In the original movie, she got up and her voice was different than in the DVD. She's like, goes, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah." She just pops up. They changed that in the DVD. But then she's like, "Come on, let's go." And he goes, "No." And she says, "No, we have to get to that hangar." How do you know about the hangar?
Right,
I noticed that in the original movie. I'm like,
yeah.
Anyway, so, and we don't even need to go to the. We mentioned the sand, soft as sand, and the
Christopher Lee, awesome. I mean, I like Count Dooku.
Oh sure, yeah. The name is a little odd. Dooku.
The name is goof. Darth Tyrannus sounds better than Count Dooku. But then his lightsaber with the little pistol grip on it was pretty cool.
That's cool, yeah. I like his escape when he gets on his like solar sail ship and he flies into Coruscant. And I love the scene with the Emperor. That's very, very cool. He's not the Emperor yet, but Senator Palpatine or Darth Sidious. That's a really neat scene, flying out to like the unincorporated industrial section of Coruscant. I like that a lot.
Aye.
I think it ends well with the wedding and stuff, and the music is reasonably good in it for. Reasonably good meaning fantastic.
Meaning awesome, right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if the music has ever been a problem with any of the series. I mean, that's John Williams.
It's never been a problem. No.
Does his craft? Yeah, for sure. So anyway, yeah, I just also I wasn't really taken by the Jango Fett stuff, like that whole plot line where Jango comes to Kamino and attacks, and there's that fight. I don't know, like it just didn't grab me. I don't know, like.
No, I like that scene. I think it's cool.
All right.
And I like the actor that plays him. I like the scene when they're in his apartment and Obi-Wan's quizzing him. I think that's a good scene.
All right. Well, maybe that's the reason for our difference in opinion.
That's right.
In 2 and 1, but yeah.
So look, I get to enjoy 7 Star Wars movies.
There we go.
Okay, for a counterpoint, we are going to Producer Steve. Producer Steve, we're talking about the Star Wars prequels. What do you think about the Star Wars prequels?
Rogue One was really done well. Way better than I thought. All the scenes are great. Storyline was awesome. Effects were raw. Not as much CGI. One of my favorite scenes is when Vader's in his castle.
Okay, actually, no, I'm sorry.
The big shadow.
Producer Steve. I'm sorry, I was talking about episodes 1 through 3.
They suck.